Hello there. Welcome to the Sleepy Japanese Traditions channel. I'm so grateful you found your way here. Perhaps you've had a busy day in the waking world, or perhaps you're looking for a quiet, rhythmic place to rest your thoughts. Either way, tonight's journey is crafted just for you. Tonight, we are drifting into the serene and disciplined world of sushi. While it is a Japanese food loved in every corner of the globe, its true heart lies in the quiet harmony of the Japanese seasons and the deep, surrounding seas of the archipelago. Beyond the simple pairing of vinegared rice and fresh fish lies a story of ancient wisdom, a delicate balance of nature's bounty and human patience. We'll travel gently from the misty, emerald rice paddies of rural Japan to the cold, deep currents of the Pacific. You'll hear of the patient fermentation of the earliest sushi, the subtle chemistry of umami, and the silent artistry of a knife that transforms a single catch into a fleeting moment of beauty. It is a story of Japan's history, told through the steady hands of artisans and the silent passage of time. And just before we begin, if these calm explorations of Japanese culinary traditions help you unwind, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It helps our community grow, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, all you need to do is rest, settle in, and allow the quiet world of sushi to carry you softly into sleep. Now, let's begin. Modern sushi is widely recognized as a fast food that originated from the bustling street stalls of ancient Edo. In the early 19th century, the city now known as Tokyo was a crowded and energetic metropolis filled with laborers and merchants who needed quick, nutritious meals. To meet this demand, creative street vendors developed a style of sushi that could be prepared and eaten standing up, almost like a prehistoric version of a modern snack bar. This original fast food version was much larger than the delicate pieces we see today, often being twice the size of a standard nigiri. It was designed to be filling and convenient, reflecting the pragmatic spirit of the urban working class. Understanding this humble beginning helps us appreciate how sushi transformed from a practical street snack into a global culinary icon. The word sushi actually refers to the vinegared rice itself rather than the fish or toppings placed on top. In the Japanese language, the term is linguistically linked to the word for sour, which points toward the essential role of acidity in the dish. While many people around the world mistakenly believe that sushi means raw fish, the true defining characteristic is the seasoned rice, technically called shari. This rice is carefully mixed with a blend of vinegar, salt, and sometimes sugar to create a specific flavor profile that complements seafood. Even if a dish contains cooked ingredients or vegetables, it is still considered sushi as long as it uses this specially prepared rice. Recognizing this distinction is fundamental to understanding the history and the culinary identity of this traditional Japanese staple. Early sushi was a fermented dish where fish was packed in rice to preserve it for several months or years. This ancient technique, which originated in Southeast Asia before reaching Japan, used rice not as a food to be eaten, but as a medium for fermentation. The fish was cleaned and layered with cooked rice and salt, then weighted down with heavy stones to exclude air. Over time, natural bacteria converted the carbohydrates in the rice into lactic acid, which acted as a powerful preservative to keep the fish from spoiling. Interestingly, in this early stage of development, the mushy, over-fermented rice was usually discarded, and only the sour fish was consumed. This process allowed communities to store precious protein long before the invention of modern refrigeration and chemical preservatives. Sushi represents the oldest form of sushi and relies on natural lactic acid fermentation to achieve its unique sour flavor. This traditional method is still practiced today in certain regions of Japan, most notably with the famous funazushi from the area around Lake Biwa. The process involves a slow biological transformation that can take anywhere from 6 months to several years to complete. As the fish undergoes this deep fermentation, the bones soften and the meat develops an intense, pungent aroma and a complex, sharp taste that is often compared to strong blue cheese. For the modern palate, sushi is an acquired taste, but for scientists and historians, it serves as a living fossil of food technology. It provides a direct connection to how our ancestors utilized microscopic organisms to survive and thrive. The transition from fermented fish to fresh fish occurred during the Edo period to satisfy the demand for quick meals. As the population of Edo grew, the slow fermentation process of traditional sushi became too time-consuming for the busy urban lifestyle. People no longer wanted to wait months for their food to be ready. This led to the development of heizushi, or quick sushi, where vinegar was added directly to the rice to mimic the sour flavor of fermentation instantly. By using vinegar as a shortcut, chefs could pair the rice with fresh fish caught daily from the nearby bay. This innovation shortened the preparation time from months to minutes, marking a revolutionary shift in Japanese gastronomy. It represents a perfect example of how cultural lifestyle changes can drive significant technological and culinary evolution. High-quality sushi rice is often a specific blend of grains selected for their ability to hold vinegar and moisture. A sushi master does not simply pick any bag of rice from the shelf. Instead, they often work with specialized rice dealers to create a custom mixture. This blend typically combines different varieties of Japanese short-grain rice to achieve a specific balance of stickiness and firmness. One variety might provide the necessary starch to hold the shape of the nigiri, while another might offer a clean finish and a pleasing texture when chewed. The goal is to create rice that remains distinct and fluffy even after being pressed by the hand. This level of detail in the foundational ingredient demonstrates the Japanese commitment to perfection, where even the simplest element undergoes rigorous scientific and artistic scrutiny. The temperature of sushi rice should ideally match the human body temperature to enhance the delicate flavors of the fish. If the rice is too cold, the fats in the fish will not melt properly on the tongue, resulting in a muted and less satisfying flavor. Conversely, if the rice is too hot, it can prematurely cook the surface of the raw seafood and ruin its texture. Maintaining the rice at approximately 37 degrees Celsius allows the aromatic compounds in the vinegar and the oils in the fish to harmonize perfectly upon contact with the palate. Skilled chefs use traditional wooden tubs called hangri and hand fans to cool the rice quickly while mixing, ensuring each grain reaches the optimal thermal state. This precise temperature control is a crucial factor in the sensory science of fine dining. The term shari used for sushi rice comes from a Buddhist word referring to the small fragments of Buddha's remains. In Sanskrit, the word refers to sacred relics or grains that represent the essence of a holy life. In the context of a sushi kitchen, this linguistic choice reflects the deep respect and spiritual value assigned to rice in Japanese culture. Each grain of rice is treated with immense care, as if it were a precious jewel or a sacred object. This connection to Buddhist terminology suggests that the act of preparing and consuming sushi is not just about physical nourishment, but also about a deeper appreciation for the cycles of life and nature. By viewing the rice as shari, the chef acknowledges the labor of the farmers and the life-giving power of the earth. Red vinegar known as akazu was the original seasoning for Edo-style sushi and is derived from aged sake leaves. During the Edo period, this vinegar was more affordable and accessible than the clear rice vinegar we commonly see today. Akazu is made by fermenting the sediment left over from sapo production for several years, which results in a dark, reddish-brown liquid with a deep, mellow aroma. It is rich in organic acids and amino acids, providing a much stronger umami profile compared to standard white vinegar. Today, Many high-end sushi restaurants are returning to the use of akazu to honor traditional flavors and to provide a more robust base for oily fish like tuna. The return to these historical ingredients shows a growing trend of rediscovering ancient wisdom to enhance modern culinary experiences. Sushi vinegar is a precise mixture of rice vinegar, salt, and sometimes sugar to balance the overall taste profile. The exact ratio of these ingredients is often a closely guarded secret of the sushi master, passed down through generations. The acidity of the vinegar serves several purposes. It seasons the rice, acts as a mild preservative, and cuts through the richness of fatty fish. Salt is added to enhance the natural flavors of the grain, while a small amount of sugar can provide a subtle sweetness that rounds out the sharp edges of the acid. In different regions of Japan, the recipe for this seasoning liquid varies significantly to match local preferences and the types of fish available. This delicate chemical balancing act is what gives each sushi restaurant its own unique and recognizable signature flavor. Wasabi was originally used not only for its pungent flavor but also for its powerful antimicrobial properties against raw fish. Scientific studies have confirmed that the allyl isothiocyanate found in wasabi effectively inhibits the growth of bacteria and parasites that can occasionally be found in seafood. In the era before electric refrigeration, including a small amount of this spicy paste between the fish and the rice was a practical safety measure to protect diners. While modern food safety standards have evolved, the tradition of using wasabi persists because its sharp heat perfectly cleanses the nasal passages and enhances the sweetness of the fish. This dual purpose of wasabi illustrates how ancient Japanese culinary habits were often rooted in a sophisticated, intuitive understanding of food science and hygiene long before modern laboratories existed. Real wasabi comes from the grated root of the Eutrema japonicum plant and loses its flavor within 15 minutes of grating. This rare plant grows naturally in the cold, clear running water of mountain streams and is notoriously difficult to cultivate on a large scale. Because real wasabi is so expensive and chemically volatile, most sushi restaurants around the world actually serve a substitute made from horseradish, mustard, and green food coloring. When you taste the authentic root, however, you will notice a complex, herbaceous sweetness and a heat that dissipates quickly rather than lingering painfully on the tongue. To preserve the delicate aromatic compounds, a traditional grater made from dried shark skin is often used to create a fine, creamy paste. Learning to distinguish real wasabi from its substitutes is a significant step toward becoming a true connoisseur. The pink pickled ginger served with sushi is called gari and functions as a palate cleanser between different types of fish. While many people enjoy eating ginger as a topping, its intended purpose is to refresh the taste buds and neutralize the oils from the previous piece of sushi. This allows the diner to experience the unique flavor profile of the next variety of fish with total clarity and no residual aftertaste. Chemically, the gingerol in the root stimulates the production of saliva and aids in the digestion of raw proteins. The bright color of traditional gari comes from a natural reaction between the young ginger and the vinegar, although commercial versions often use dyes to achieve a consistent hue. Using gari correctly is an essential part of the rhythmic and balanced experience of a traditional Japanese multi-course sushi meal. Nori seaweed sheets are toasted to bring out a nutty aroma and provide a crisp texture to various sushi rolls. This thin, dark paper is actually made through a process very similar to traditional paper making, where edible algae is shredded, pulped, and dried on large screens. Toasted nori, known as yakinori, is essential for maintaining the structural integrity of rolls while offering a satisfying crunch that contrasts with the soft rice. Beyond its texture, nori is a powerhouse of nutrition, containing high levels of vitamins and dietary fiber. It is also a significant source of umami, as it is naturally rich in glutamate. In high-end sushi, the quality of the nori is just as important as the fish, with chefs seeking out sheets that melt away effortlessly on the tongue without being chewy or tough. The dark green color of high-quality nori indicates a high concentration of nutrients and minerals from the cold ocean. When seaweed grows in nutrient-rich waters with plenty of sunlight, it develops a deep, nearly black appearance due to the dense accumulation of photosynthetic pigments. These pigments are responsible for the complex, oceanic flavor that defines the best sushi rolls. Lower quality seaweed often appears lighter or brownish and lacks the depth of flavor found in the premium harvests. In Japan, the finest nori is typically harvested during the winter months when the sea temperature drops, allowing the algae to store more energy and flavor. Understanding the visual cues of seaweed quality allows us to appreciate the environmental factors that contribute to the overall excellence of a seemingly simple hand roll or piece of gunakanmaki. Umami is the fifth basic taste and is a central scientific component of why sushi tastes so deeply satisfying. Identified by Japanese scientist Kikunae Ikeda in the early 20th century, umami is the savory sensation triggered by certain amino acids, particularly glutamate. In the context of sushi, umami is present in almost every ingredient, from the fermented vinegar and the dried seaweed to the aged fish and the soy sauce. This taste sensation provides a sense of fullness and satisfaction that goes beyond simple saltiness or sweetness. Because the Japanese diet historically relied less on animal fats than Western diets, the mastery of umami became the primary way to create richness and depth in cuisine. Recognizing the presence of umami helps us understand why a single, small bite of sushi can leave such a lasting and complex impression. Glutamic acid found in seaweed and inosinic acid found in fish work together to create a synergistic umami flavor explosion. This scientific phenomenon, known as umami synergy, occurs when these two specific types of molecules meet on the human tongue. When combined in the correct proportions, they stimulate the taste receptors far more intensely than either compound could on its own. This is the hidden chemistry behind the classic combination of fish and seaweed that defines the sushi experience. Chefs who understand this principle can manipulate ingredients to maximize this savory impact, creating a meal that feels both light and incredibly flavorful. This natural chemical interaction is a perfect example of how traditional Japanese food pairings are accidentally, yet brilliantly, optimized for the highest possible level of human sensory enjoyment and culinary satisfaction. The aging of certain fish like tuna allows natural enzymes to break down proteins into flavorful amino acids and fats. While many people associate sushi with absolute freshness, many of the most prized varieties of fish are actually aged for several days or even weeks. During this controlled process, the muscle tissues soften as enzymes begin to transform the cellular structure of the meat. This metabolic activity increases the concentration of glutamate, thereby intensifying the umami flavor while creating a luxurious, buttery texture that melts in the mouth. However, this technique requires extreme precision and knowledge, as the temperature and humidity must be perfectly managed to prevent spoilage. The art of aging fish demonstrates that time is an ingredient just as important as the salt, vinegar, or the skill of the knife itself. Zuke refers to the traditional technique of marinating fish in soy sauce to preserve freshness and enhance the deep savory notes. This method was developed during the Edo period as a way to keep lean fish like tuna from oxidizing and turning gray in the open air of a street stall. By soaking the fish in a mixture of soy sauce and occasionally mirin, the chef creates a protective layer that also infuses the meat with a rich, salty sweet complexity. Today, Zuke is still widely practiced not because of a lack of refrigeration, but because the marination process transforms the texture of the fish into something uniquely firm and translucent. It represents a beautiful bridge between ancient necessity and modern gourmet preference, proving that the solutions of the past can remain timeless treasures in the world of high gastronomy. The art of slicing fish requires a single fluid motion with a long, thin blade to keep the cell walls intact. When a sushi chef cuts a piece of seafood, they do not use a sawing motion, which would crush the delicate fibers and cause the juices to leak out. Instead, they utilize the entire length of the blade in one continuous pull, ensuring a surface that is as smooth as glass. This precision is not just for visual beauty. It directly impacts the flavor and the way the fish feels on the tongue. A clean cut preserves the natural oils and prevents the oxidation that can lead to a fishy smell. Mastering this single stroke takes years of dedicated practice, illustrating how the physical movements of the artisan are scientifically linked to the final quality of the meal. A professional sushi knife is typically sharpened on only one side to allow for incredibly precise and clean vegetable cuts. This single bevel design, known as kataba, is a hallmark of Japanese cutlery and differs significantly from the double-beveled knives common in Western kitchens. By having one flat side and one angled side, the knife can glide through fish and vegetables with minimal resistance, pushing the sliced piece away from the blade. This prevents the delicate flesh of the fish from tearing or sticking, ensuring a pristine and glossy surface. The extreme sharpness required for this task is achieved through hours of hand wetting on natural stones. This level of dedication to a single tool illustrates the Japanese belief that the soul of the craftsman resides in their equipment, making the knife an extension of the chef's own hand. The sequence of eating sushi usually starts with lighter white fish and progresses toward the heavier and more oily varieties. This traditional progression is designed to protect the sensitivity of the palate so that the subtle flavors of mild fish are not overwhelmed by richer tastes. For example, starting with a delicate sea bream allows the diner to appreciate its clean, sweet notes before moving on to the intense, fatty richness of bluefin tuna or the smoky sweetness of grilled eel. If the order were reversed, the heavy oils and strong sauces would coat the tongue, making the lighter fish taste bland or uninteresting. This thoughtful pacing is a core element of the omakase experience, guiding the guest through a carefully curated landscape of flavors that builds in intensity and complexity over time. Anago or saltwater eel is typically simmered in a sweet broth and served warm to highlight its soft texture. Unlike its freshwater cousin, anago is known for having a much lower fat content and a fluffier, more delicate meat that almost disintegrates upon contact with the tongue. The simmering liquid, often made from a reduction of soy sauce, sugar, and the bones of the eel itself, infuses the fish with a deep umami sweetness. Because it is served warm, the contrast with the room temperature sushi rice creates a comforting and unique sensory experience that differs from the cold, raw fish typically found in a nigiri set. This preparation method showcases the diversity of sushi, proving that heat and slow cooking are just as vital to the tradition as the freshness of raw seafood. Unagi is fresh water eel that is grilled with a thick sweet glaze and is highly valued for its richness. Known for its high fat content and robust flavor, unagi is often associated with physical stamina and is traditionally eaten during the hottest days of summer in Japan. In the context of sushi, it is usually prepared in the kabayaki style, where the eel is butterflied, skewered, grilled, and basted repeatedly with a savory sweet-tear sauce. The caramelization of the sugars on the skin provides a slightly smoky aroma and a rich, sticky texture that pairs beautifully with the acidic sushi rice. While it is a heavy dish, the skillful application of the sweet glaze ensures a balanced profile that has made unagi one of the most beloved and recognizable cooked toppings in the world. Tamagoyaki is a sweet layered omelette that often serves as a final test for a sushi apprentice's culinary skill. Making a perfect sushi omelette requires an incredible amount of patience and temperature control, as the eggs are seasoned with dashi, sugar, and sometimes mountain yam or shrimp paste. The chef must carefully fold the thin layers of egg in a rectangular pan, ensuring there are no air bubbles or scorched spots, resulting in a dense yet fluffy cake-like consistency. Historically, a diner would judge the quality of an entire sushi restaurant based solely on the taste and texture of the tamagoyaki. Because it is served at the end of the meal, its gentle sweetness acts as a bridge between the savory main courses and the final conclusion of the dining experience. The term omakase translates to "I will leave it to you" and grants the chef creative control over the meal. This dining style is the ultimate expression of trust between the guest and the artisan, allowing the chef to select the very best ingredients available at the market that morning. By choosing omakase, the diner is not just ordering food. They are participating in a spontaneous performance tailored to the season, the weather, and even the diner's own pace of eating. The chef observes the guests' reactions and adjusts the seasonings or the size of the rice mounds accordingly. This personalized approach ensures that every piece of sushi is served at its absolute peak of flavor, fostering a deep sense of connection and hospitality that defines the highest level of Japanese service culture. Nigiri sushi consists of a hand-pressed mound of rice topped with a single slice of fresh seafood or vegetables. This specific form is what most people imagine when they think of sushi, and it represents the pinnacle of the edamame tradition. While it looks simple, the construction of a single piece of nigiri involves a complex series of hand movements that must be executed with speed and precision. The chef must ensure that the rice is packed loosely enough to contain air pockets, which makes the rice feel light and fluffy, but firmly enough so that it does not fall apart when picked up. The harmony between the length of the fish and the shape of the rice is a visual and tactile art form that requires years of repetitive training to master perfectly. Gunikan-maki or battleship rolls were invented to hold soft toppings like sea urchin or salmon roe in place with seaweed. The name comes from the visual resemblance of the tall, oval-shaped roll to a miniature naval vessel. This innovation allowed sushi chefs to incorporate ingredients that are too loose or liquid-like to sit securely on top of a standard nigiri mound. By wrapping a strip of crispy nori around the perimeter of the rice, the chef creates a protective wall that serves as a container for the delicate treasures of the sea. This style of sushi not only expanded the variety of flavors available to diners but also added a beautiful vertical dimension to the presentation of a sushi platter. It is a perfect example of how structural design can solve culinary challenges. Tamaki is a cone-shaped hand roll that is meant to be eaten quickly before the seaweed loses its crispness. Unlike standard rolls that are sliced into bite-sized pieces, tamaki is designed for a more casual and immediate dining experience. It typically features a sheet of nori filled with rice, fish, and often vegetables like cucumber or sprouts, rolled by hand into a convenient funnel shape. Because the nori begins to absorb moisture from the warm rice immediately, the window of time to enjoy the perfect crunch of the seaweed is very short, often just a few seconds. This emphasizes the Japanese value of ichigo itsu, or the idea that every moment is a unique and unrepeatable encounter. Tamaki is a favorite for home parties, where guests can enjoy making their own custom combinations. Inarizushi features vinegared rice stuffed inside pouches of seasoned fried tofu and is a popular comfort food in Japan. The tofu pouches, called aborage, are typically simmered in a sweet and salty broth until they are plump and flavorful. This variety of sushi is distinct because it does not usually contain any fish, making it a staple for picnics, bento boxes, and casual lunches. Legend says that Inarizushi is named after the Shinto deity Inari, whose fox messengers are believed to have a great fondness for fried tofu. Because of this connection, you can often find shops selling these golden brown treats near inari shrines across the country. It represents the more accessible, rustic side of sushi culture, offering a hearty and satisfying sweetness that appeals to people of all ages. Karashi sushi is a colorful scattered sushi bowl often prepared for special celebrations and home gatherings throughout the Japanese islands. Unlike the precise hand-pressed mounds of nigiri, this style features a vibrant array of sashimi, cooked vegetables, and thin omelet strips artfully arranged over a bed of vinegared rice. In many Japanese households, karashi sushi is a centerpiece for Hinamatsuri, the doll festival, where its bright colors symbolize the arrival of spring and wishes for a healthy future. Regionally, the ingredients can vary wildly. For instance, the Tokyo style often uses raw seafood, while the Kansai style in Western Japan favors cooked ingredients mixed directly into the rice. This dish represents the communal and festive side of sushi culture, proving that the foundation of seasoned rice can be a canvas for both professional artistry and warm, home-cooked hospitality. The Tsukiji and Toyosu markets are world-famous hubs where the finest seafood is auctioned in the early morning hours. For decades, Tsukiji served as the chaotic and atmospheric heart of Japan's fish trade, before the operations moved to the modern, climate-controlled facility at Toyosu. Every day before dawn, professional buyers and elite sushi chefs gather to inspect the quality of massive tuna and rare shellfish using only flashlights and small hooks. The speed and intensity of the auctions are a testament to the high stakes involved in securing the best seasonal catch for the world's top restaurants. This complex logistics network ensures that a fish caught in the deep Pacific can be served at its absolute peak of flavor just hours later. It is a massive, highly synchronized operation that connects the rugged life of the fisherman to the refined world of the sushi counter. Tuna is categorized by its fat content, with akami being lean, hutoro being medium fatty, and otoro being the richest. Akami refers to the deep red meat from the center of the fish, prized for its firm texture and slightly metallic, iron-rich acidity. As you move toward the belly of the tuna, you find hutoro, which offers a perfect balance of meaty flavor and silky fat. Finally, otoro is the prized underbelly, which is so heavily marbled with fat that it literally begins to melt at room temperature. A skilled chef understands that these different cuts require slightly different amounts of wasabi or aging time to bring out their best characteristics. Exploring the spectrum of tuna allows a diner to appreciate how a single animal can provide a vast range of sensory experiences, from refreshing and lean to decadent and creamy. Bluefin tuna can weigh over 600 pounds and requires expert handling to maintain the integrity of its valuable meat. These massive apex predators are the undisputed kings of the sushi world, sometimes fetching millions of dollars at the New Year's auctions in Tokyo. Because of their size and the high oil content of their flesh, the cooling and butchering process must be executed with extreme care to prevent the meat from burning due to its own internal body heat. Specialized saws and long sword-like knives are used to break down the giant fish into manageable blocks called saku. This process is both a physical challenge and a scientific necessity, as any mistake in temperature control or cutting technique can significantly diminish the value and flavor of the fish. The bluefin tuna is a true marvel of the ocean and the ultimate prize for any master chef. The belly of the tuna was once considered low-class food until modern refrigeration made it a global luxury item. In the Edo period, before the advent of ice and cold storage, the fatty belly meat spoiled much faster than the lean red meat. Because the fat would turn rancid quickly, it was often discarded or used as cheap fertilizer, while the lean akami was preserved in soy sauce. It wasn't until the mid-20th century, With the rise of advanced freezing technology and a growing global preference for rich, fatty flavors, the totoro climbed to the top of the culinary hierarchy. This shift in status is a fascinating example of how technological progress and changing cultural tastes can completely redefine what we consider to be a luxury ingredient. Today, it is difficult to imagine a high-end sushi menu without this buttery, melt-in-your-mouth delicacy. The bright orange color of sea urchin or uni comes from its diet of nutrient-rich kelp in the ocean. These spiny creatures are essentially kelp harvesters, and the quality of their creamy reproductive organs, which we eat as sushi, depends entirely on the health of the underwater forests where they live. The best uni is often found in the cold waters off Hokkaido, where the kelp is exceptionally thick and flavorful. When served as a gunakanmaki, the uni should have a firm shape and a sweet, briny scent that evokes the essence of the sea without being overly fishy. High-quality sea urchin is often described as ocean butter because of its incredibly rich and smooth texture. Understanding the relationship between the sea urchin and its environment reminds us that the health of the ocean's ecosystems is directly reflected on our plates. Ikura or salmon roe is often cured in salt or soy sauce to create a popping sensation in the mouth. These translucent orange pearls are harvested from wild salmon and must be handled with great gentleness to avoid breaking the thin outer membranes. The curing process is a delicate science. Too much salt will make the roe tough, while too little will fail to preserve the flavor. When prepared correctly, each individual grain should burst with a clean, savory liquid that floods the palate with umami. Chefs often marinate the ikura in a custom blend of soy sauce and sake to add depth and remove any unwanted fishy odors. Serving ikura on a bed of crispy nori provides a beautiful contrast between the snap of the seaweed and the liquid explosion of the roe, making it a favorite for both texture and taste. The texture of squid or ika is enhanced by fine decorative scoring, which also helps the soy sauce cling better. Raw squid can be somewhat tough and chewy if served in a thick, flat slice, so sushi chefs use a technique called matsujiri to make hundreds of tiny, shallow incisions across the surface. This mechanical tenderizing breaks the surface tension of the muscle fibers, making the squid feel much softer and more luxurious on the tongue. Furthermore, these intricate patterns increase the surface area, allowing a brush of nigiri glaze or a squeeze of sudachi citrus to settle into the grooves for a more even distribution of flavor. The translucent, white appearance of fresh squid, combined with these delicate patterns, creates a piece of sushi that looks like a finely carved piece of ivory or white jade. Hikoromono refers to shiny silver-skinned fish like mackerel, which are often cured with salt and vinegar for balance. The name literally translates to shiny things, and this category includes species such as saba, kahata, and ahi. Because these silver-skinned fish contain high levels of oils and enzymes that degrade quickly, they have traditionally been treated with a curing process called suhime. By layering the fish in salt to draw out excess moisture and then briefly rinsing it in vinegar, the chef firms up the flesh and creates a sharp, bright flavor that cuts through the natural fishiness. This technique is considered one of the most difficult skills to master, as the curing time must be adjusted by the second depending on the fat content and size of each individual fish. It is the ultimate test of a chef's intuition. Mackerel or saba contains high levels of healthy omega-3 fatty acids which contribute to its distinct and bold flavor. While some diners may find the taste of mackerel to be quite strong, it is highly prized by sushi enthusiasts for its nutritional profile and its deep, complex character. The high oil content makes it an ideal candidate for the salt and vinegar curing process, which transforms the fats into a rich, savory experience. In some regions, saba is used to make batara, a type of pressed sushi from Osaka that features thin layers of kelp on top for extra umami. Beyond its culinary appeal, mackerel is an excellent source of brain-healthy fats and proteins, making it one of the most functional and beneficial choices on the sushi menu. Embracing the bold flavor of saba is a hallmark of a mature and adventurous palate. Ahi or horse mackerel is frequently served with grated ginger and green onions to complement its refreshing and light oils. Unlike the heavier and salt-cured true mackerel, horse mackerel is often served as fresh as possible to highlight its delicate and sweet oceanic flavor. Because it contains a specific type of fatty acid that can have a slightly pronounced aroma, the sharp and spicy heat of fresh ginger acts as a perfect aromatic counterbalance. The finely chopped green onions add a crisp texture and a bright visual contrast to the silver skin of the fish. This combination of toppings is a classic example of how Japanese cuisine uses medicinal garnishes, known as yakumi, to both enhance flavor and aid in the digestion of raw proteins. Each bite of ahi is a refreshing reminder of the clean, cool currents of the Japanese coastline. The preparation of octopus involves massaging the tentacles for a long time to break down the tough muscle fibers. Raw octopus, or taco, is naturally very rubbery and difficult to chew, so sushi chefs must perform a laborious process called momiuchi. By rubbing the octopus with coarse salt or grated daikon radish for 30 minutes or more, the chef physically and chemically tenderizes the meat while removing the slippery slime from the skin. Once the muscle fibers have relaxed, the octopus is typically simmered in a seasoned broth containing soy sauce and sugar until it reaches a tender, almost meat-like consistency. A skilled chef can transform a tough sea creature into a succulent delicacy that is both sweet and savory. This physical dedication to the ingredient is a hallmark of the patience required in the traditional Japanese kitchen. Ebi or shrimp is often blanched briefly and then chilled in ice water to maintain a bright color and sweetness. In many high-end sushi restaurants, the shrimp is not served raw but is instead carefully butterfly cut and skewered to keep it straight during the cooking process. The goal is to cook the shrimp just until the proteins set, which intensifies the natural sugars and creates a beautiful white and orange striped pattern. Immediately plunging the hot shrimp into an ice bath stops the cooking process and locks in the firm, snappy texture that diners prize. Some chefs also place a small amount of shrimp oboro, a sweet, crumbled shrimp paste, between the meat and the rice to add an extra layer of concentrated flavor. This meticulous preparation turns a common seafood item into a sophisticated and multidimensional piece of nigiri. Kuruma ebi is considered the king of sushi prawns due to its impressive size and exceptionally sweet and firm meat. These tiger prawns are native to the waters around Japan and are highly valued for their vibrant colors and rich, umami-filled flavor profile. In the most traditional edamame style, the kuruma ebi is prepared just before serving to ensure the highest possible quality and temperature. The chef carefully removes the shell while preserving the elegant tail, creating a piece of sushi that is as visually striking as it is delicious. Because of its natural sweetness, it is often paired with a very light touch of soy sauce or simply a pinch of sea salt to let the oceanic essence shine through. For many sushi connoisseurs, a perfectly prepared kuruma ebi represents the absolute peak of shellfish craftsmanship in the culinary world. The use of soy sauce should be subtle and only the fish side of the sushi should touch the liquid. When a diner dips the rice directly into the soy sauce, the grains act like a sponge, soaking up too much liquid and causing the delicate mound to fall apart. More importantly, the saltiness of the soy sauce can completely drown out the subtle flavors of the vinegared rice and the fresh fish. By flipping the nigiri slightly and dipping only the corner of the topping, you add just enough seasoning to enhance the umami without overwhelming the palate. This etiquette is not just about being polite, It is a practical way to ensure that the balance of flavors carefully constructed by the chef remains intact until the very moment you taste it. It shows respect for the artisan's balance. Applying too much soy sauce can overwhelm the delicate balance between the vinegared rice and the fresh seafood components. A master sushi chef spends years learning how to season each individual type of fish to bring out its best characteristics. Some fish are naturally sweet, while others are earthy or fatty, and each one reacts differently to the sodium in the sauce. If a guest uses an excessive amount of soy sauce, every piece of sushi begins to taste the same, and the subtle nuances of the different species are lost. In high-end restaurants, the chef often applies a light glaze of nigiri, a reduced mixture of soy sauce, dashi, and mirin, so that the diner does not need to use any extra seasoning at all. This allows the chef to maintain total control over the flavor profile of each bite. Traditional sushi chefs often apply the perfect amount of soy sauce or glaze themselves using a small brush called nigiri. This practice is common in edamame-style restaurants, where the chef presents the finished piece of sushi as a complete work of art that requires no further modification from the guest. The nigiri brush allows for an even, thin coating that provides a glossy sheen and a subtle, savory depth. This glaze is not just standard soy sauce, it is a custom boiled concoction that contains a higher concentration of umami and a lower level of harsh saltiness. By taking this final step, the chef ensures that the ratio of seasoning to fish and rice is scientifically perfect for every single guest. It simplifies the dining experience for the guest while demonstrating the chef's absolute commitment to the final flavor. Green tea served at sushi restaurants is called agari and helps to wash away the oils from the palate. The word agari was originally part of the secret slang used by geisha and theater workers, but it eventually became the standard term for tea in the sushi world. This tea is typically a powdered form of green tea called kanaka, which is made from the small leaf particles left over from the production of high-quality sencha. Because the particles are so small, the tea brews quickly and has a very bold, astringent flavor. This bitterness is intentional, as it acts as a natural detergent that cleans the tongue of fish fats and prepares the mouth for the next course. In a traditional setting, a fresh cup of hot agari is offered whenever the previous one cools, ensuring a continuous cycle of refreshment. The high temperature of the tea is intentional as it helps to melt the fish fats remaining on the tongue. When eating fatty fish like tuna or mackerel, the oils can coat the taste buds, making it difficult to perceive the subtle flavors of the following pieces. Hot green tea, or agari, effectively dissolves these residual lipids and carries them away, acting as a functional palate cleanser. Chemically, the tannins found in green tea also help to neutralize any strong fishy aftertastes. This is why you will rarely see cold tea served in a traditional sushi establishment. The heat is an essential part of the chemical interaction between the beverage and the food. This thoughtful pairing of temperature and chemistry is a prime example of the hidden logic that governs the traditional Japanese dining experience from beginning to end. Conveyor belt sushi, or kaiten sushi, was invented in Osaka to make high-quality sushi accessible and affordable for everyone. In 1958, a restaurant owner named Yoshiaki Shiraishi observed a conveyor belt at a beer bottling plant and realized the same technology could be used to serve sushi more efficiently. Before this invention, sushi was considered an expensive luxury that was served only at high-end counters. By using a moving belt, Shiraishi reduced the need for many servers and allowed customers to see the food before they chose it. This innovation revolutionized the industry, turning sushi into a popular family meal and eventually spreading the culture to the rest of the world. Today, kaiten sushi is a global phenomenon, proving that tradition and modern engineering can work together to bring joy to millions of people every day. Modern conveyor belts use sensors and sophisticated tracking systems to ensure that every plate remains fresh for the customers. In high-tech sushi restaurants, each plate is equipped with a radio frequency identification chip that allows the kitchen computer to monitor how long a specific dish has been circulating. If a plate of tuna or salmon stays on the belt past its peak freshness window, an automated alarm or a notification system ensures it is removed immediately. Some systems even use artificial intelligence to predict customer demand based on the time of day and the number of people in the restaurant. This scientific approach to inventory management reduces food waste while maintaining the high safety standards expected in Japanese cuisine. It is a fascinating blend of ancient culinary art and cutting-edge logistics that defines the modern dining landscape. The design of a sushi counter is often made from hanoki cypress wood, which has natural antibacterial properties and fragrance. This light-colored, elegant wood is highly prized in Japan for its durability and its ability to withstand moisture without rotting. When a guest sits at a traditional sushi bar, they are often struck by the clean, lemon-like scent of the hanoki, which helps to neutralize any strong fishy odors in the room. Scientifically, the phytoncides found in cypress wood act as a natural disinfectant, providing a hygienic surface for the chef to place the delicate pieces of nigiri. Over time, the wood develops a beautiful patina from constant wiping and care, reflecting the history and the soul of the restaurant. The choice of material is a deliberate environmental design intended to soothe the senses and ensure safety. Apprenticeships in traditional sushi restaurants can last for over a decade before a chef is allowed to make nigiri. This long and rigorous journey, known as shugyo, is designed to build not only technical skill but also mental discipline and a deep respect for the ingredients. An apprentice begins at the very bottom of the hierarchy, performing menial tasks like cleaning the floors and washing the heavy pots. By observing the master chef every single day, the student learns the subtle rhythms of the kitchen and the importance of timing and cleanliness. This slow progression ensures that by the time a chef finally stands behind the counter, they possess an intuitive understanding of the craft that cannot be learned from a textbook. It is a traditional educational model that prioritizes character development and mastery over quick results. The first few years of training are often dedicated solely to cleaning the kitchen and mastering the art of rice. While a newcomer might be eager to slice expensive fish, they must first prove their dedication through the repetitive task of washing and cooking the shari. Washing sushi rice is a delicate process that requires feeling the texture of the grains to remove excess starch without breaking them. The apprentice must learn how to adjust the water levels and soaking times based on the humidity of the day and the age of the rice harvest. This foundational period teaches the student that the rice is the true heart of sushi, and without perfect rice, even the finest fish in the world will fail to shine. It is a lesson in humility and the vital importance of the basics. A master sushi chef can feel the exact weight of the rice in their hand without using a weighing scale. Through decades of daily repetition, the nerves in the chef's fingertips become incredibly sensitive to the density and volume of the seasoned grains. In a high-end restaurant, every piece of nigiri served to a guest will weigh almost exactly the same, typically around 15 to 20 grams depending on the type of fish. This consistency is crucial for creating a balanced flavor profile and ensuring that the rice and the fish finish dissolving on the tongue at the same moment. This level of physical precision is a testament to the concept of shokunying, the craftsman who devotes their entire life to perfecting a single, repetitive motion for the benefit of others. The pressure applied when shaping nigiri must be firm enough to hold but light enough to maintain air pockets. A common mistake among beginners is squeezing the rice too hard, which creates a dense, heavy ball that is difficult to chew. A master chef uses a series of gentle finger movements to create a structure that is structurally sound on the outside but remains loose and airy on the inside. When the guest places the sushi in their mouth, these air pockets allow the individual grains of rice to separate easily, maximizing the surface area that touches the taste buds. This hidden texture is what makes professional sushi feel so light and elegant compared to machine-made versions. Mastering this delicate balance of force and air is one of the most difficult skills in the entire culinary world. Sushi is one of the most chemically balanced meals, providing a mix of carbohydrates, proteins, and essential healthy fatty acids. From a nutritional perspective, a standard serving of nigiri offers a clean source of energy from the rice and high-quality protein from the seafood. Because most sushi is served raw or lightly steamed, the natural nutrients are not destroyed by high-heat frying or heavy oils. Furthermore, the inclusion of seaweed and fermented vinegar adds a layer of complexity that supports overall health. When enjoyed in moderation, sushi represents a highly efficient way to nourish the body with diverse minerals and vitamins from the ocean. This inherent nutritional balance is a major reason why Japanese cuisine is often linked to the longevity and health of the Japanese population. The vinegar in the rice acts as a natural digestive aid and helps the body absorb nutrients more efficiently. Acetic acid, the primary component of rice vinegar, has been shown in scientific studies to help regulate blood sugar levels and improve the digestion of proteins and fats. By seasoning the rice with vinegar, the sushi chef is not only adding flavor but also making the meal easier for the stomach to process. This is particularly important when consuming oily fish like tuna or eel, as the acidity helps to break down the rich lipids. In traditional Japanese medicine, vinegar has long been used as a tonic for vitality and recovery from fatigue. This functional benefit highlights how Japanese culinary traditions are deeply intertwined with a holistic approach to health and wellness through everyday eating. Seaweed is an excellent source of iodine and minerals that are often lacking in a standard modern land-based diet. The nori used in sushi rolls and gunakanmaki is packed with essential nutrients like calcium, magnesium, and iron, all of which are absorbed directly from the seawater. Iodine, in particular, is vital for healthy thyroid function and metabolic regulation, and seaweed is one of the few natural dietary sources of this element. Furthermore, nori contains a significant amount of vitamin B12, which is relatively rare in plant-based foods. By incorporating these ocean greens into the daily diet, sushi provides a concentrated boost of oceanic vitality that supports the immune system and bone health. It is a reminder that the sea offers a wealth of nutrition if we know how to harvest it. The inclusion of fermented ingredients in sushi promotes a healthy gut microbiome and supports the overall human immune system. While modern sushi uses fresh fish, the presence of fermented rice vinegar and traditional soy sauce introduces beneficial organic acids to the digestive tract. Furthermore, many traditional side dishes served with sushi, such as miso soup and pickled vegetables, are rich in probiotics and enzymes. These fermented elements help to balance the bacteria in the gut, which is increasingly recognized as a key factor in both physical and mental health. This focus on fermentation is a hallmark of the Japanese diet, reflecting an ancient wisdom that prizes the invisible work of microbes. Eating sushi is therefore a gentle way to support the complex internal ecosystem that keeps our bodies functioning at their best. Global demand for sushi has led to significant advancements in sustainable aquaculture and responsible fishing practices around the world. As sushi transitioned from a regional Japanese specialty to a worldwide culinary phenomenon, the pressure on wild fish populations, particularly bluefin tuna and eel, reached critical levels. In response, International organizations and Japanese scientists have pioneered new methods for tracking seafood origins and ensuring that fish are harvested at rates that allow populations to recover. Many high-end sushi restaurants now pride themselves on sourcing only from certified sustainable fisheries that use selective gear to minimize bycatch. This global movement is not just about environmental protection. It is a necessary evolution to ensure that the art of sushi can be enjoyed by future generations. Supporting these ethical practices is a vital responsibility for both chefs and discerning diners. Farmed bluefin tuna projects in Japan are working to reduce the pressure on wild populations through innovative breeding techniques. For decades, the idea of raising these massive, high-speed ocean wanderers in captivity was considered an impossible dream. However, researchers at Kindai University successfully achieved the world's first full-cycle aquaculture of bluefin tuna, meaning the fish are hatched from eggs laid by farmed parents. This closed-loop system eliminates the need to catch young wild tuna from the ocean, providing a consistent and stable supply of high-quality fatty meat. While the flavor profile of farmed tuna is slightly different, often being richer in fat due to a controlled diet, it offers a scientifically viable path toward ecological balance. This technological breakthrough represents a significant milestone in Japan's commitment to combining traditional food culture with modern environmental stewardship. Climate change is shifting the migration patterns of fish, forcing sushi chefs to adapt to new seasonal availability of ingredients. As ocean temperatures rise, many species traditionally caught in southern Japanese waters are moving northward toward cooler currents, while some northern species are disappearing from their historical habitats. For a sushi master whose craft is built on the precise timing of the seasons, these shifts present a profound challenge to traditional knowledge. Chefs must now spend more time communicating with trusted fishmongers and exploring underutilized species that are becoming more abundant in the warming seas. This adaptation requires a flexible mindset and a willingness to redefine what constitutes a classic sushi menu. It serves as a stark reminder that the culinary world is deeply interconnected with the health and stability of our planet's climate. The philosophy of shun emphasizes eating ingredients at their absolute peak of flavor according to the specific microseasons. In Japanese culture, there is a belief that every living thing has a moment of maximum vitality, which typically lasts for only a few weeks each year. For a sushi chef, identifying the shun of a particular fish means catching it when its fat content and texture are perfectly balanced for the palate. This concept encourages a deep, meditative connection to the passing of time and the subtle changes in the natural world. Eating according to shun is not only more delicious but also more nutritionally dense, as the organism is at its most potent state of life. By focusing on these fleeting windows of perfection, sushi becomes a way to celebrate the ephemeral beauty of the changing seasons. Wabi-sabi is a Japanese aesthetic that finds beauty in imperfection and simplicity, which is reflected in sushi presentation. While a piece of nigiri may look like a simple slab of fish on rice, its understated elegance is a deliberate rejection of gaudy or excessive decoration. The focus is on the natural colors of the seafood, the grain of the rice, and the clean lines created by the knife. In a world that often prizes over-the-top displays, the quiet and humble appearance of traditional sushi invites the diner to look closer and appreciate the subtle details. This aesthetic philosophy suggests that true luxury is found in the essence of the material itself rather than in artificial embellishments. Understanding wabi-sabi allows us to find peace and satisfaction in the modest, honest, and fleeting moments of a meal. Each piece of sushi is a fleeting work of art designed to be consumed within seconds of its creation. Unlike a steak or a stew that can sit on a plate for several minutes without losing its character, sushi is a highly time-sensitive collaboration between the chef and the guest. The temperature of the rice, the moisture on the surface of the fish, and the crispness of the seaweed all begin to degrade the moment the chef's hand releases the piece. In high-end establishments, the chef will wait for the diner to finish one bite before preparing the next, ensuring that every element is in its optimal state. This immediacy forces the diner to be fully present in the moment, fostering a sense of mindfulness and respect for the labor involved. It is a culinary experience that exists only in the now. The silence in a high-end sushi restaurant allows the guest to focus entirely on the sensory experience of eating. Unlike loud, bustling Western bistros, a traditional sushi bar often maintains a quiet, almost reverent atmosphere where the only sounds are the rhythmic slicing of the knife and the gentle pressing of rice. This lack of distraction is intentional, as it heightens the diner's awareness of the subtle textures, temperatures, and aromas of the food. It creates a meditative space where one can truly listen to the story being told through the ingredients and the chef's movements. This atmosphere of quiet hospitality or omotenashi ensures that the guest feels cared for without the need for constant verbal interruption. In this silence, the connection between the provider and the receiver becomes more profound and meaningful. Miso soup is frequently served at the end of a sushi meal to provide a warm and grounding finish. After consuming several courses of cool or room temperature raw fish, the hot, savory broth helps to settle the stomach and aid in the digestion of the proteins. The complex, earthy flavors of the fermented soybean paste provide a satisfying contrast to the bright acidity of the vinegared rice. Traditionally, the soup served at a sushi restaurant is simple, often containing only a few small clams or some chopped green onions to avoid overwhelming the palate. This final course signals the conclusion of the journey, leaving the diner with a lingering sense of warmth and fulfillment. It is a humble yet essential part of the Japanese dining structure that prioritizes the comfort and well-being of the guest. The dashi stock used in miso soup is made from kombu kelp and bonito flakes to maximize the umami profile. This clear, golden broth is the foundational DNA of Japanese cuisine and is scientifically designed to deliver a massive boost of savory satisfaction. The kombu provides glutamic acid, while the dried and smoked bonito fish flakes contribute inosinic acid, creating a powerful synergistic effect that defines the taste of Japan. Preparing dashi is a delicate process that requires precise temperature control to extract the clean flavors without bringing out bitterness or cloudiness. For a sushi chef, the quality of their dashi is a point of pride, as it reflects their mastery of the most basic and essential elements of the kitchen. This simple broth carries the profound essence of the ocean and the traditional Japanese forest. California rolls were created in the United States to introduce sushi to people who were hesitant about eating raw fish. In the late 1960s, a chef in Los Angeles realized that many Westerners were put off by the sight and texture of raw tuna and the dark color of seaweed. To solve this, he hid the nori on the inside of the rice, creating the inside-out roll, and substituted fatty avocado for the rich texture of tuna. This innovative adaptation acted as a cultural bridge, making sushi approachable and trendy for a global audience. While some purists in Japan initially viewed it with skepticism, the California roll is now recognized as a brilliant piece of culinary diplomacy that paved the way for the worldwide sushi boom. It proves that food can evolve and adapt to bring different cultures closer together. The use of avocado in sushi was a revolutionary substitution for the fatty texture of tuna in Western markets. When sushi first began to gain popularity in North America during the 1970s, high-quality fatty tuna, or toro, was often difficult to source or prohibitively expensive. Creative chefs discovered that the high monounsaturated fat content of a ripe avocado provided a remarkably similar creamy mouthfeel and rich flavor profile to that of the prized fish belly. This botanical alternative allowed diners to experience the luxurious, melting sensation of premium sushi at a more accessible price point and without the need for raw seafood. Today, the inclusion of avocado has become a global standard in fusion sushi, illustrating how a simple plant from the Americas could harmonize perfectly with the ancient rice traditions of Japan to create a brand new culinary category. Fusion sushi has introduced ingredients like spicy mayo, cream cheese, and crispy onions to the global culinary vocabulary. While these additions are far removed from the minimalist roots of traditional edamame sushi, they represent a vibrant and evolving branch of the cuisine that prioritizes bold, contrasting textures and flavors. In many countries, these creative roles serve as an entry point for those who might otherwise find traditional raw fish to be too subtle or challenging. Scientifically, the combination of fats from mayonnaise or cheese with the acidity of the rice and the crunch of fried toppings creates a multi-sensory experience that appeals to a wide range of biological cravings. This global evolution shows that while the core of sushi is Japanese, its potential for adaptation is limitless, allowing it to become a beloved global local food that belongs to everyone. In Japan, sushi is often associated with the Hinamatsuri festival, where families eat colorful scattered sushi for good health. Celebrated on March 3rd, this doll festival is a time to pray for the happiness and healthy growth of young girls. The specific dish served, karashazushi, is packed with symbolic ingredients: shrimp for longevity until your back is bent, lotus root for a clear view of the future, and beans for the ability to work diligently. The bright pink, green, and white colors of the toppings mirror the blossoms of spring, creating a visual celebration of life and renewal. This connection between sushi and the calendar of Japanese life reinforces the idea that food is more than just calories. It is a medium for transmitting cultural values, seasonal awareness, and ancestral blessings from one generation to the next. Hand towels called ashibori are provided to guests to clean their hands before enjoying sushi with their fingers. In a traditional sushi restaurant, these towels are often served steaming hot in the winter and refreshingly cold in the summer, offering an immediate sense of comfort and transition from the outside world. The ritual of cleaning one's hands is a practical necessity because nigiri sushi was historically designed to be eaten without chopsticks. Using your fingers allows you to feel the temperature and the delicate pressure of the rice, ensuring that the piece does not fall apart before it reaches your mouth. This simple act of preparation is the first step in the hospitality of omotenashi, where the chef anticipates every physical need of the guest to ensure a focused and pure dining experience. Eating nigiri sushi with your hands is considered the traditional way to feel the texture and temperature of the rice. While using chopsticks is perfectly acceptable in modern times, many connoisseurs prefer the tactile connection that comes from picking up a piece of sushi with their thumb, index, and middle fingers. This method allows the diner to gently flip the piece so the fish touches the tongue first, maximizing the immediate impact of the seafood's flavor and texture. Furthermore, because a master chef packs the rice loosely to maintain air pockets, chopsticks can sometimes apply too much localized pressure and cause the mound to crumble. By using your hands, you can maintain the structural integrity of the chef's work while fully engaging all five senses in the act of eating. It is a humble and direct way to appreciate the artisan's craft. The placement of the sushi on the plate is carefully considered to create a sense of movement and visual balance. In Japanese aesthetics, the arrangement of food is never symmetrical or crowded. Instead, it follows the principle of ma, or negative space, allowing each piece to stand out as an individual work of art. The chef might place the sushi in a diagonal line or a gentle curve that guides the diner's eye across the platter, often mimicking the flow of a stream or the natural landscape. This visual harmony is intended to calm the mind and prepare the palate for a focused tasting experience. A beautiful presentation suggests that the ingredients have been treated with the utmost respect and that the diner is about to partake in something special and ephemeral. It is the visual prelude to the flavor. Shellfish like scallops or hottate are prized for their soft creamy texture and natural sweetness from the cold northern seas. These mollusks are often harvested from the pristine, nutrient-rich waters of Hokkaido or the Sanriku coast, where the low water temperatures encourage the development of thick, sweet meat. When served as sushi, a scallop is often butterfly cut to lay flat across the rice, revealing a glossy and translucent surface that looks like a white pearl. Scientifically, scallops are high in glycine and other sweet amino acids, which provide a clean sugary note that pairs exquisitely with the acidity of the sushi vinegar. Whether served raw to highlight their oceanic freshness or lightly seared to bring out a smoky aroma, scallops represent the delicate and sophisticated side of the ocean's bounty. The blood clam known as akogai is famous for its vibrant red color and its distinct mineral-rich oceanic flavor. This rare and luxury ingredient is one of the few shellfish that contains hemoglobin, which gives it its characteristic crimson hue and a slightly metallic, iron-like aftertaste. To prepare akogai, the chef must skillfully shuck the tough shell and slap the meat against the wooden counter, which causes the muscle fibers to contract and curl, resulting in a firm and snappy texture. This dramatic preparation is a classic display of edamame craftsmanship, turning a challenging ingredient into a visual and tactile masterpiece. For the serious sushi lover, the deep, earthy, and complex profile of the blood clam is an essential experience that connects the diner to the wild and untamed depths of the sea. Abalone or awabi is a luxury ingredient that is often steamed for many hours to achieve a tender yet firm consistency. In its raw state, abalone is incredibly tough and rubbery, making it difficult to enjoy as a delicate piece of sushi. However, when slowly cooked using the mushi awabi technique, the proteins gradually break down, resulting in a texture that is often compared to a soft mushroom or a tender steak. The cooking liquid, which often includes sake and kelp, infuses the meat with a concentrated dose of umami. Abalone has long been a symbol of longevity and high status in Japan, and it is often presented as a special treat during celebratory feasts. Its subtle, nutty flavor and sophisticated chewiness make it one of the most respected and sought-after delicacies in the entire world of traditional Japanese high gastronomy. The liver of certain fish is sometimes served as a topping to provide an intense and buttery concentrated flavor. Known as kimo, the liver is particularly prized in species like the monkfish or the threadsail filefish. Often referred to as the foie gras of the sea, these livers are rich in healthy fats and offer a deep, savory creaminess that is unlike any other part of the fish. A chef may gently steam the liver and place a small slice on top of the white fish from the same animal, creating a parent and child pairing that maximizes the sensory impact. This practice reflects the Japanese culinary value of motonai, or the desire to waste nothing, finding the hidden beauty and intense flavor in parts of the animal that other cultures might overlook. It is a bold and rewarding taste for the adventurous. Sushi has become a symbol of Japanese soft power, influencing global food trends and promoting Japanese culture across every continent. From the high-end counters of Ginza to the bustling street corners of New York, Paris, and Sao Paulo, sushi acts as a delicious ambassador for Japanese values of precision and seasonality. This global spread has encouraged people of all backgrounds to explore Japanese aesthetics, language, and the deep philosophy of respect for nature. Economically, the sushi boom has created a massive international market for Japanese rice, vinegar, and premium seafood, supporting rural communities and traditional artisans. Beyond just a meal, Sushi serves as a cultural bridge that fosters curiosity and mutual understanding through a shared sensory experience. It proves that the most effective way to share a culture's heart is through the universal language of excellent food. The rapid expansion of sushi globalism has sparked a renewed interest in traditional Japanese craftsmanship and high-quality cutlery. As chefs around the world strive to replicate the perfect textures and flavors of authentic nigiri, they have turned to the same specialized tools used by masters in Japan. This has led to a global resurgence in the demand for hand-forged sakai and seiki knives, which are renowned for their incredible sharpness and single bevel design. Furthermore, the interest in sushi has revitalized ancient crafts like the carving of hinoki cypress counters and the weaving of bamboo rolling mats. By adopting these traditional tools, international chefs are helping to preserve artisanal techniques that might otherwise have faded in the age of mass production. This global appreciation for Japanese craftsmanship ensures that these historical skills continue to evolve and thrive in the modern era. Scientific research into flash freezing technology has allowed high-quality sushi-grade fish to be transported safely across great distances. Historically, eating raw fish was limited to coastal regions where the catch could be consumed immediately. However, modern superfreezers can now plummet the temperature of a tuna to -60 degrees Celsius in a matter of minutes. This rapid cooling prevents the formation of large ice crystals that would damage the delicate cell walls of the fish, effectively pausing the biological clock of the meat. When properly thawed, the fish retains its original color, texture, and nutritional value, making it indistinguishable from a fresh catch. This technological marvel has democratized the sushi experience, allowing landlocked cities far from the ocean to enjoy the same high-quality seafood once reserved for the elite coastal markets of Japan. Supermarkets now offer convenient sushi packs, making this once exclusive cuisine a regular part of many people's weekly diets. While a plastic box from a grocery store lacks the theater and personalized touch of a high-end counter, it plays a vital role in making healthy Japanese flavors accessible to everyone. These pre-packaged sets often feature classic favorites like salmon and tuna, providing a balanced and nutritious alternative to typical fast food options. For many people, a supermarket sushi pack was their very first introduction to the world of raw fish and vinegared rice. This mass market availability has normalized the consumption of seaweed and cold rice, expanding the global palate and paving the way for a deeper exploration of more traditional Japanese culinary arts. It represents the successful integration of a specialized tradition into the daily rhythm of modern global life. Molecular gastronomy is being applied to sushi to create innovative textures like soy sauce, foam, or concentrated vinegar pearls. Forward-thinking chefs are using scientific techniques to deconstruct the classic elements of sushi and present them in surprising new ways. Instead of a liquid dip, a chef might serve a piece of nigiri topped with a light, airy foam that carries the intense aroma of fermented soybeans without the heavy saltiness. These spherified pearls of vinegar burst on the tongue, providing a sudden and controlled release of acidity that enhances the fatty oils of the fish. While these methods may seem futuristic, they are rooted in the same fundamental principles of flavor balance that have guided sushi masters for centuries. By embracing modern food science, these chefs are pushing the boundaries of what sushi can be, ensuring the tradition remains dynamic and exciting. The concept of edamame specifically refers to fish caught in Tokyo Bay, although the term now describes a style. The name edamame literally translates to "in front of Edo," signifying that the ingredients were harvested from the waters immediately adjacent to the shogun's capital. In the past, this localized sourcing was a necessity of geography and transport, but it eventually developed into a prestigious culinary philosophy. Today, edamame style refers to the specific techniques of curing, marinating, and simmering that were developed to preserve that local catch. Even if a chef uses fish from the Atlantic or the Mediterranean, if they apply these traditional preservation methods, the spirit of edamame remains intact. This legacy teaches us that a culinary tradition is not just defined by a specific location, but by the wisdom and techniques used to honor the ingredients of that place. The evolution of sushi rice from long grain to short grain reflects the agricultural history and preferences of the Japanese people. Short grain rice, specifically varieties like koshi hikari, contains a higher ratio of amylopectin starch, which gives it the characteristic sticky and chewy texture necessary for shaping nigiri. This type of rice was carefully cultivated over thousands of years to thrive in the unique climate and water conditions of the Japanese archipelago. Unlike the dry, separate grains of long-grain rice used in other Asian cuisines, Japanese rice provides a cohesive base that can hold the seasoning and the fish in perfect harmony. The success of sushi as a global dish is deeply tied to the specific biological properties of this grain. Understanding the history of rice cultivation allows us to appreciate sushi as a direct product of the Japanese land and its farmers. Modern chefs are experimenting with brown rice and ancient grains to offer healthier and more diverse sushi options to guests. While white rice has been the standard for centuries due to its clean flavor and refined texture, there is a growing interest in utilizing whole grains that retain their nutrient-rich bran and germ. Brown rice sushi, or genmai sushi, offers a nuttier flavor and a firmer bite, along with a higher fiber content and a lower glycemic index. Some innovative restaurants even use red or black ancient rice varieties to create visually stunning and nutritionally dense variations of traditional rolls. These experiments reflect a broader global trend toward health-conscious eating and a desire to explore the full spectrum of grain possibilities. This evolution shows that the foundation of sushi is flexible enough to accommodate modern nutritional science without losing its soul. The etiquette of the sushi bar encourages a respectful dialogue between the chef and the diner regarding the ingredients. Sitting at the counter is not a passive experience. It is an opportunity to learn about the origin of the fish, the specific micro-seasons, and the techniques used in the kitchen. A knowledgeable diner might ask the chef which catch is at its peak that day, fostering a shared appreciation for the natural world. This interaction is a core part of the Japanese concept of kizuna, or the bond created through mutual respect and shared moments. By engaging with the chef, the guest gains a deeper understanding of the labor and history behind every bite, transforming a simple meal into a profound educational journey. This culture of dialogue ensures that the traditions of the sushi counter are passed on through human connection. A high-quality sushi meal is often viewed as a meditative experience that connects the diner to the natural world. In the quiet atmosphere of a dedicated sushi restaurant, every movement is intentional and every flavor is a reflection of the earth's cycles. As you focus on the texture of the rice, the temperature of the fish, and the aroma of the tea, the stresses of the outside world begin to fade away. This mindfulness is a central pillar of Japanese culture, encouraging a deep presence and gratitude for the small, fleeting beauties of life. Sushi is a reminder that we are part of a vast ecological system, and that by eating with awareness, we can find a sense of peace and harmony. In this way, the sushi counter becomes more than just a place to eat, it is a sanctuary for the spirit. The use of gold leaf on luxury sushi reflects a history of opulence and celebration in certain Japanese urban centers. While sushi is often associated with Zen-like simplicity, there are occasions where it is presented with a touch of extravagant flair. Edible gold leaf, traditionally produced in the city of Kanazawa, is incredibly thin and flavorless, but it adds a shimmering, brilliant glow to pieces of uni or fatty tuna. Historically, The use of gold in food was a way for the merchant class to display their wealth and celebrate special milestones like the New Year or a successful business deal. Today, it remains a popular choice for high-end omakase menus intended for special anniversaries. This practice illustrates the dual nature of Japanese culture, which can embrace both the quiet humility of wabi-sabi and the vibrant, festive energy of miyabi or courtly elegance. Sushi robots are now capable of producing thousands of consistent rice mounds per hour for large-scale catering and events. These sophisticated machines use advanced robotics and sensors to gently compress the rice without crushing the grains, mimicking the basic hand movements of a human chef. In environments like large-scale kaiten-sushi chains or high-volume airports, these robots ensure a level of efficiency and hygiene that would be impossible to achieve by hand alone. While they cannot replace the intuition and artistic soul of a master sushi chef, they have made it possible for millions of people to enjoy affordable and consistent sushi every day. This use of technology is a characteristically Japanese solution to the challenge of scaling a labor-intensive craft for a global audience. It shows that even the most traditional arts can find a place in the automated future. Despite automation, the human touch remains essential for selecting the best fish and adjusting to daily environmental changes. A robot can press rice, but it cannot go to the fish market at 4 in the morning to judge the fat content of a tuna by the way the light reflects off its meat. It cannot sense the humidity in the air and decide to add a few more drops of vinegar to the rice to compensate. The true art of sushi lies in these subtle human judgments that respond to the unpredictable variations of nature. A master chef also provides the essential element of omotenashi, or the ability to read a guest's mood and pace the meal specifically for them. While machines provide efficiency, the human connection remains the irreplaceable heart of the authentic sushi experience, ensuring that every meal feels personal and alive. The rise of vegan sushi uses ingredients like marinated tomato or fermented beets to mimic the appearance and texture of fish. As more people around the world adopt plant-based diets for ethical or environmental reasons, the sushi industry is evolving to meet this new demand. By utilizing traditional Japanese techniques like zuke marination or slow smoking, chefs can transform simple vegetables into sophisticated toppings that offer a surprisingly similar sensory experience to seafood. For example, a tomato that has been peeled, seeded, and marinated in soy sauce and dashi can replicate the visual and umami profile of lean tuna. This plant-based sushi is not just a substitute, it is a creative expansion of the sushi vocabulary that highlights the incredible versatility of the Earth's produce. It ensures that the joys of sushi can be shared by everyone, regardless of their dietary choices. Protecting the oceans is vital for the future of sushi and the continued survival of traditional Japanese culinary heritage. As we have seen, every piece of sushi is a direct gift from the sea, and its quality depends entirely on the health of marine ecosystems. Overfishing, plastic pollution, and rising ocean temperatures pose a direct threat to the species that have nourished Japan for thousands of years. By choosing sustainable seafood and supporting ocean conservation efforts, sushi lovers can help ensure that the delicate balance of the underwater world is maintained. This responsibility is a modern extension of the ancient Japanese respect for nature's bounty. The story of sushi is, at its heart, a story of the ocean, and by protecting the water, we are protecting a piece of human history and the flavors that define it. Learning about sushi provides a window into the Japanese values of discipline, respect for nature, and constant self-improvement. The journey from a humble street snack to a global art form reflects the Kaizen spirit, the relentless pursuit of small, daily improvements that lead to ultimate mastery. Whether it is the 10-year apprenticeship of a chef or the lifelong dedication of a rice farmer, sushi is a product of human effort and patience. It teaches us that even the most seemingly simple things require a deep well of knowledge and care to be truly excellent. By understanding the complexity behind a single piece of nigiri, we learn to appreciate the hidden depths in all aspects of life. Sushi is more than just food. It is a philosophy of living that prizes quality, integrity, and the beauty of the natural world. The global community of sushi lovers continues to grow, fostering cross-cultural understanding through a shared love of fine food. In every major city in the world, people from different backgrounds gather around sushi counters to enjoy the same seasonal treasures and artisanal techniques. This shared experience creates a common ground where conversation and curiosity can flourish, breaking down barriers and building connections. As people learn about the history of edamame, the chemistry of umami, and the ethics of sustainability, they become more than just consumers. They become informed global citizens. This sushi diplomacy is a powerful reminder that our differences can be celebrated and understood through the simple act of sharing a meal. The love of sushi is a unifying thread that weaves together the diverse cultures of our modern, interconnected world. The journey of a single piece of sushi involves the collaboration of fishermen, rice farmers, salt makers, and skilled chefs. No individual can create sushi alone. It is the final result of a vast and ancient network of human labor and environmental cooperation. The fisherman who braves the cold morning waves, the farmer who tends to the emerald rice paddies, and the artisan who brews the soy sauce all contribute their life's work to that one perfect bite. When we eat sushi, we are partaking in this grand collective effort and acknowledging our dependence on the hard work of others. This realization fosters a sense of gratitude and humility, reminding us that our lives are supported by a complex and beautiful web of human and natural systems. Every piece of sushi is a celebration of this profound interconnectedness. As long as the sea provides its bounty, the art of sushi will continue to evolve and inspire future generations. From its ancient origins as a way to preserve fish in the mountains of Southeast Asia to its current status as a high-tech global phenomenon, sushi has always been a dish of adaptation. It has survived wars, economic shifts, and technological revolutions by remaining true to its core principles of quality and balance. As we look to the future, we can expect to see even more innovation in sustainable sourcing, plant-based alternatives, and digital hospitality. However, the fundamental appeal of vinegared rice and fresh ingredients will always remain constant. The story of sushi is far from over. It is a living tradition that continues to grow and change, reflecting the resilient and creative spirit of humanity. Every bite of sushi tells a story of the earth and sea coming together in a perfect, quiet moment of harmony. The salt from the waves, the starch from the soil, the wood of the counter, and the warmth of the human hand all converge at the sushi counter to nourish both the body and the soul. This harmony is the true essence of Japanese culture, a balance between the wild forces of nature and the refined discipline of the artisan. As you enjoy each piece, you are tasting the history of a nation and the bounty of the planet. It is a fleeting moment of beauty that is meant to be savored and remembered. Through sushi, we find a way to connect with the world around us and the ancient wisdom that continues to guide us toward a more mindful and delicious future. Perhaps you'll look at a simple piece of sushi a little differently now, noticing the seasons captured in a single slice of fish, the centuries of tradition in the vinegared rice, the quiet craftsmanship in the press of a hand. Sushi is a harmony of nature and time, a bridge between the deep, cold currents of the ocean and the warm fields of the earth. As you drift towards sleep, let these thoughts settle softly. Breathe deeply and allow the gentle, rhythmic world of the sea to carry you into rest. Imagine the cool, crystalline waters where the silver fish glide, the vast salt-scented breeze of the coast, the comforting steam rising from a cup of roasted tea, the delicate grain of a wooden counter beneath your hand. Let these sensations blur and fade as sleep approaches, as balanced and serene as the flavors that have nourished us tonight. If you happen to still be awake, you can go ahead and rest your eyes and drift away. But if your mind is growing quiet, if your body feels heavy and relaxed, let yourself surrender to sleep. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and allow everything to fall away. Drift into the deep, into the stillness, into the peaceful, blue embrace of the tides. Rest now. Let the stories of the sea and the harvest settle into your dreams, and may you wake refreshed, ready to taste the world anew. Good night.